Wanna sit on the road? Oh, brother, look at this. These guys are holding rocks, but they're upside down.
All this, I thought they were just describing the name Yznaga, and that they were saying that it comes from is, which is rushes, and the abundant suffix aga, denoting a land filled with rushes, which are grass-like plants. They're like reeds. Anyway, I thought that's all it was talking about, but no, this is telling me where the name Yznaga came from. And it says here, the name of a Basque town in Segura, Yespokua, documented in 1374, which means in 1374, the name Yznaga showed up in a town. I haven't deciphered, because it says here in the town Segura, and then it mentions Yespokua, which is a province. But if it's the name of a town, how can it be in Segura, which is in a province? Segura would be what? Another province? There isn't another province. So I don't know if there's an error in there or what. I haven't been able to break that down. But it says here, it was documented in 1374, and homestead. Homestead means was where the first house was put in Amorbieta, Vizcaya. Amorbieta is the city, Vizcaya is the province. So over here we have...
You want me to get Mother? She said she wanted to be here when you first started.
Did she? Well, is Mother coming or?
Yeah. She's laying down.
I know, she's laying down. Let me.
Excuse me. I'm going to take these things off of this. They don't need to be here.
Look at all of the toys. Ooh.
And what is this?
Huh?
What is this?
Okay, this is the father to father to father, from the present, which is the bottom, to the very first Yznaga. This is the origin of the Yznaga family homestead in Spain.
Oh, that's okay.
And the little brackets on the other side, on the right here, show where it was at, and then to Cuba, and then they came to the United States.
Close on Columbus's heels, too.
You're right. It was before, well, 1490, 1492, right after, before Columbus discovered America. We have the family here. I don't know if you want to go ahead and take this out of the way. I want to show you where it's located in Spain. Of course, I can't show you if I'm holding this thing here.
Here, let me help.
Which end do you want? Just hold this in. I want to get in front of it here. Okay. Here's Bilbao, right here. And here is Amorbieta. And that's the name of the town where the first Yznaga family showed up. Back in 1490. Amorbieta, right here, where the little circle is at. So that's where it shows up. And this is in the northern part of, in the Basque country of Spain. And over here is the border between France and Spain.
So the Pyrenees are right?
There's the Pyrenees right in there, yes, they're right in there. The Pyrenees, the Pyrenees Mountains. And Bilbao is the largest industrial city of the Basque, which is one of the strongest, I guess, financially and wealth and whatnot. So that's. Any questions on this?
Yeah, where'd you get the map?
Huh? I got it at a map store. This is an individualized section of the Basque region of Spain. This is not. It's just the northern part of Spain. This is not a complete map of Spain.
Not a complete one.
No. Now in the Basque provinces, there's 4 Basque provinces. They have Vizcaya, Guipúzcoa, and then Navarra and Araba. Those are 4. And those they're in here. And then over here you have 3 more Basque provinces, but they're French. I did find in my census books and a person that is French, the nationality was French, and the name was spelled Znaga. they solved the problem of the I and the Y. They just got rid of it. And it was from France.
How did he pronounce?
Yeah? I don't know. It was just a document showing where he had arrived in the United States. So I don't know how he pronounced it. Or maybe the people who recorded it made a mistake. Maybe it was YZNAGA or IZNAGA. But in Spain and in Cuba, our name is spelled IZNAGA. So if you're ever looking for the name Yznaga, always look under IZ, YZ, YS, or IS. Because the letters are interchangeable. It's the same name. Okay, that's about it for this. Unless you have another question on it. Okay. Now we have the documentation, and we've already gone through the documentation. Do you have any questions on this while I'm here? I'll give this to somebody else, please. Do you have any questions on this?
Now, the origin of that is...
Okay, now the author of this document is a person who has done what is called etymology of the names. Etymology means that trace the name back to its origin. And that's exactly what this has done, back to its origin. It has gone back to where the name first started. And then I say, well, wait a minute. How do I know what I'm seeing here? How do I believe it, you know? Okay, that's simple enough. I found this document. If you want to make a copy of that.
Mm-hmm. Famulus cubanus.
You want me to put it on a chair?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, maybe you should put it on a chair.
Are we gonna look through it?
No, well, it's kind of hard to. There's not much in there that you can decipher. You know, well, you can take the next page if you want to. So, maybe not. Now,
Así le escriben en México.
¿en México también?
Así lo hacen.
Okay.
It's gonna be very hard to read.
Yeah, don't. Well.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So I'm going to read to you what it says about Yznagas. They have all the different families of Cuba, and Yznagas is one of them. And it says, esta familia, I'm going to read it in Spanish first, and then for those who cannot understand Spanish, I'll translate it, okay? Esta familia tiene su casa solar en zona en la antigua iglesia de Amorvieta, Meriranda de Sorona, en el escenario de Vizcaya, donde aparece radicada means lived in, homestead, desde el fines del siglo 1500 century, which is 1490. Al fines is 1490. En estableciéndose en La Habana la primera mitad del siglo 18th century. So then it says on here, son sus armas. These are his escudo, is what it's called in Spanish, which means coat of arms. Son sus armas en campo de plata, árbol desarrollado, sinople, con dos lobos sables atravesados al tronco. It says in a camp, a silver background camp, and a tree with uprooted roots, with two lobos, two wolves, but it says sables, which I looked at the dictionary, and it says sables means cutlass. You know, and a cutlass could be a sword, or it could be a wolf. I don't know. And atravesados al tronco, across the trunk, one this way, one the other way. So they're across the trunk. Yes. Now, and then it goes on to say, Don Pedro de Yznaga, if you look at your charts on the father to father, primer dueño y señor conocido de la casa solar infanzona de Yznaga. That's the first owner of the house. Okay, so now this document matches with that document. That man was tracing names. This man was tracing families. And after this, he has the man's wife, his children, his children's 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 children, all the way to Cuba. See, and it finally winds up with the last families in Cuba. It has in here Antonio del Valle, Antonio Yznaga del Valle, which is the father of Consuelo Yznaga. He has him in here, and he shows the birth date of Consuelo, and Natica, and Fernando, and Emilia. So all of them are documented in here. So the whole capoodle, you know. And in 1725, the first Yznaga went to Cuba. His name was Antonio de Albiz. Antonio de Yznaga y Albiz. Albiz was his mother's name. And he was the first one to establish himself in in Cuba, sorry. And he obtained a certification of nobility before he came to Spain. To Cuba again, my goodness. This is terrible. So he was able to come with all his documents and establish himself in Cuba, and then from then on, everybody else followed down the line. And then the family became extremely wealthy in Cuba. I mean, multi-mega bucks. I mean, they didn't know, they had so much money they didn't know what to do with it. And all family members keep asking, well, how come we didn't get any of it, you know? Well, one reason, and I think is the main reason, was because of what our ancestors were doing. Our great-great-grandfather, whom they say is Jose Aniceto, he was involved in separating Cuba from Spain and annexing it to the United States. And in doing so, he was considered a traitor by the Spanish government. It depends on whose side you're looking at. Like I was saying, who's writing it or who's looking at it as to whether he's the good guy or he's the bad guy. If you're looking at it as the people who wanted freedom and get away from Spain, he's the good guy. If you're looking at it from the Spanish side, working against the government, he's the bad guy. So that's what it boils down to. And then from there, they left Cuba. Quite a few of these Nagas left Cuba and came to the United States. I have documentation when about 8 of them came to the United States and where they landed. So this is this particular book covers the families, all the families. And then we have, let's see, when it covers the families, what else did I want to show you? Oh, getting back to the coat of arms, I wrote Spain. And Spain answers back. And I'll read it in Spanish, because it's in Spanish, and then I'll translate it, if you want me to, or would you rather I just go ahead and translate it?
Yeah, I'd rather translate it.
Huh? Translate it? Okay. In answer to your letter, the 11th of September, I have the pleasure of communicating to you that as Cronista Rey de Armas, as the heraldry king of arms, I can extend to you an official certification of your heraldry shield. It says this certification is composed of the proper documents and registered with our protocols office. It's in carpetado, which is it means it's made of a cloth, like a woven cloth, and cloth, and we will send it to you by mail. But you have to send $600. And that's where we stop. $600? Why? Just a little piece of cloth, you know. Anyway, so it says, in case you desire it, please let us know. Remit your check by bank and a photocopy of your baptismal. So apparently this guy isn't just giving these things out to anybody. You have to have a record of who you are or who you say you are, you know. And at the time it takes to prepare it, it'll be approximately 2 months. I'm expecting an answer from you. Well, he's still waiting. So that's as far as the school goes. Now, any questions? I know I'm going fast, and I know this is the first time you've been exposed to this, but still, maybe you've generated a question. No? Nothing? Okay.
Pull right there from
Yep. Do you want me to show it, or do you want me to put it down, or how do you want to show these pictures?
Oh, there's the glare.
Yeah, tilt it.
There's the...
No.
No, it's fine there.
No, it was that's all fine. It's fine now.
And who is this?
This is our grandmother on father's side. This is the one you were saying that father said looked like you? He does. There is a resemblance there.
La mamá de tu papá.
George, tilt just a little bit.
Josefa.
It's fine.
Oh, that's a glare on it. Wait a minute. Let me get it out.
Actually, if you tilt it down, all of the glare will go away.
How far down do I have to go?
That's fine.
Clear to the floor.
No, that's fine.
It's still there.
Al, you don't have it centered. Okay. Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
You want me to turn off this light back here?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn off that light, see if it helps.
Oh, see.
No, didn't do
That
it.
wasn't it. It looks like it's that one over there.
Okay. You can turn it back on.
Well, okay.
You gotta need the light.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Now, that's your...
You got that one? Our grandmother
Yeah.
on father's side.
What did she say she looked like? Or?
Okay.
Like Rosie? Father told her that.
Yeah, your father told me
Really?
a long time ago.
Okay. You got this one already?
Mm-hmm.
It was a resemblance with his mother.
Take four.
And he also said that she was about my coloring, which she says not real dark, not real fair. It's about your coloring. So I found that nice for him to point that out to me.
Now this is our great-grandfather and his wife. That is Antonio Jose and his wife Juanita Gonzalez. You see, you can follow it on your chart too if you want to. That is
Jose Antonio?
no, Antonio Jose.
Number 10.
Oh, okay, I was one. So he was the first one to come to the United States?
This is the one that left at that time when the Yznagas were moving out of Cuba. He left. My uncle says he left at the age of 7. I haven't been able to find documentation to that. So, but he left Cuba at, well, I have to take his word for it, at the age of 7. And one of the reasons I can't get any information on him is Cuba will not answer. I've written to Cuba and they will not answer you. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Now, this is his family. Let's see, let me look on here. Yeah. His wife, this is his wife right here. I don't know if that will show. Okay, maybe I should get a pointer. Let's see. What can I use as a pointer? I need I guess a pencil would do it.
You want a pen?
Yeah, a pen would do it. This one right here, that's Juanita Gonzalez. That is great-grandfather's wife.
Okay.
And that's his brother, his children. Not all of them. This is one Portilla. That's her husband here. This is Juanita. And this one here is Aniceto. His name is Jose Aniceto, and they say he was named after his father, his grandfather rather. And that's his wife. Her name is Zapopa. Don't ask me why. And this is Antonio. That's brother to Aniceto. And all of these are the children from my great-grandfather, from the picture I just showed you. That's his children. And then this is Estela, and we have I'll have to look at the.
So your grandfather is in there?
Huh? No, he's not in here.
Oh.
The great grandfather's not in here. It's just his wife. That's his wife right here.
Oh.
That's Juanita. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you don't need to do anything with this one. This is me when I was punching cattle. Now, they started me out pretty young.
That's Beto.
That's me.
That's Beto.
That's me.
Sorry, that's Beto.
Nope.
That's not you.
Ask Mama.
Who's that?
I've got it. That's all right.
You got it? Okay. Here's a picture. Maybe some of you have seen it, maybe some of you
I have
haven't.
that one.
You have that one. This is my father.
Remember him? Se lo tomaron en la calle.
Yeah.
En la calle Houston.
Do you still remember him that way? Yeah, you still remember him?
Andrew seems to think he represents one of these TV characters. He looks like him. I don't know what show. He mentioned the show, but I don't remember it.
You look like Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, a bit.
His old movie.
Really?
What year was that picture?
It doesn't have a year.
I think it's, I think, for the car.
Can't you guess it, Mother?
It's in the
What did you say?
40s. It's in the 40s.
More or less.
More or less like 1949, 1950.
This is my mother.
When I was 13 years old.
How much? 13?
13.
I'll have to write that down.
It's a little bit like Lydia, huh? Diana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my mother and father in Saltillo, Mexico.
Recién casados nosotros.
Recently married.
Those were the days. Happy days.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a piano there.
This is Ernesto and his wife, Matilde. These are the brothers. Ernesto is my uncle, yeah. They look real pioneers, you know. The rifle in hand, carrying.
Querida nomás.
Who has the rifle?
Well,
My gosh, I do.
the pistol on it.
He has a rifle and a
And
pistol.
a pistol.
Where?
Oh,
yes.
it's a holster. It's a-
Yes, I never saw that.
Hold on a minute.
Did you turn off the camera?
No. I
There's
want
a
to point to
glare.
the
Oh, the
pistol
pistol?
Oh,
there
yeah.
and the rifle here.
Okay.
Elton?
That got it on film?
Do you know when this was taken, George?
Mama, when did they take this picture, do you know?
I don't know. They already did it when I was near.
That's it? Okay.
Get Lloyd to sit down. See, I don't have
Sorry.
the names on those. I don't. Well, they have the names on them. I don't know.
This is Tomás
I'm gonna have
y
to-
Ernesto.
¿Quién?
Your uncle.
Tomás y Ernesto, my uncle.
And who?
Hmm? Tomás and Ernesto.
Oh, and Ernesto. Uh-huh.
Get it?
What did they sit on top of?
Huh? They're just sitting there. That's where they. It looks like a drainage ditch or a drainage pipe.
Vale más que les pongas el nombre por detrás.
See, it's got them on there.
Si no,
It has them on there.
nadie lo sabe.
You have to do that to yours.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, see?
Okay.
Now this is. I don't know if anybody knows who this is, but this is my mother.
I was 7 years old. Mira que largo tengo el cabello para tenerlo quebrado.
And notice the long hair
Mira,
long braids she's wearing.
What is this, First Communion?
Yeah. 7 years old.
when I
Okay.
made my first communion.
Okay, let me write that down while I didn't have the age. Yes, okay. And this is a picture of the family. This is my mother, Oscar, George, Gloria, and Beto.
Beto se ve más chiquito que tú. Como tú estás en los brazos, te ves más grande.
That's a very nice picture of you, Gloria. Looks very good.
Well, thank you.
Need a haircut?
I sure do.
And your makeup is fading.
Right.
Okay.
Tú no tienes ese retrato.
Yeah, I have all those
Ah,
pictures.
sí.
Yes.
And this is a picture of my mother's family. It's the group picture. There's too many to name, but Gloria's in the picture. She's right here.
En Oscar, tú.
This is, let's see. Yeah, this one right there. That's, how can I do it with that? This one, that's Gloria.
Yeah.
And Diana's in here, and
Lloyd and Richard.
Todos están nomás. Ricardo no.
Oh, Richard is?
No
Richard
quise
is the only
retratarse.
one that is not in the picture.
I say Lloyd. back
Okay.
there.
Okay. And of course, these are all the family members of my mother's family.
It's my father, mother, and
The two center ones are her father and mother. Let me mark that, or let me point to that. This is my mother's mother. You got that? And this is my father, my mother's father.
yeah.
And you, this is you, mother, isn't it? Right here, that's you.
Yes.
And this is my mother right here. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is my father
Antes de casarse.
before he got married.
Cuando estaba joven y bello.
When he was young and full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is my father again.
Antes de casarse también. Allá en Monterrey.
This is in Monterrey.
El del Cerro de la Silla.
Cerro de la Silla.
That would be the
No, don't press it.
yeah.
Así se llama y así se
El Cerro de la Silla. That's in Monterrey, Mexico. Monterrey, Mexico. Okay? And this is my father's brother and sister. The girl is Berta and the brother is Arturo.
He
No.
already died.
Yes,
She lived.
he died single and Berta is still living.
Muy simpático, muchachita se ve.
And of course, back to the old times, we have my mother. She's on the
Chelo.
right.
Tenía yo como un mes y medio de casada.
Mm-hmm.
Got it? Okay. Let me write that down. Okay. And you would never guess who this is. This is my mother when she was how old?
Pues yo creo que era
About
año y
3?
medio.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She doesn't remember how old she was, but
Never
from the
said.
looks, I would say, what, about 2?
Year and a half.
Como
Huh?
año y
Like a year and a
medio.
half.
For a year and a half, yeah.
Decía mamá que me tenían que sostener porque no me sostenía yo sola.
Well, at a year and a half, you would be holding up very well by
Sí.
yourself. So you must have been
Sí,
young.
pero yo creo que no quería yo que me tomaran y por eso estaba yo.
Oh.
And here you have La Torre Yznaga. This is a tower that was built by Alejo Yznaga in Cuba in 1820. At that time, it was the tallest structure in all of Cuba. It was used as a lookout to oversee the plantation, the workers, and it also had a bell at the top that marked the times of the day. where it was time for breakfast, time for lunch, time to go back to work. It was just like in private industry where they have sirens. They had bells at those times to signal the time of the day.
There's an elevator in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was. And this is Fernando Yznaga. This picture hangs in the museum in Newport, Rhode Island. Fernando Yznaga is the brother of Consuelo Yznaga, who was the Duchess. She married the Duke, which was George Montagu.
Montague? Okay, Romeo and Juliet?
Quicker. He's,
Character
and you want to stop right there? Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll put it further down. You don't want
Ese no lo tengo yo.
No.
No.
What?
I don't have that one.
Oh, you don't have that one?
Ahí está papá nomás.
This is my mother's family, her father and her mother. They're sitting in the second row in the center.
It doesn't waste time if you turn it off.
Okay.
Okay? And this one is our family, my family, my brothers and sisters, my mother and father.
A Ricardo tuvimos que
Three men in
forzarlo
uniform.
a que se parara y diga, no, que
Four men in uniform.
Huh?
no le gusta.
Four in
que-
uniform.
Yeah, we're a uniform family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we'll stop it right there. I'd like to come and see it. It is the list of the names from back to 1490 to the present. All the families are in here that I know and I'm aware of. Some of the families I'm not able to locate because nobody seems to know where they went, where they moved to. But right here we have, in all these documents, everybody's in here. I'd like to, after we get through this presentation, for you to come and take a look at your chart and tell me if there's anything that you would like to change on it. Because sometimes the name, you may not like the way the name is spelled, or I may have it wrong. Like Jeffrey is spelled two different ways, and I naturally picked the wrong one, you know. So Diana said, hey, that's not right. Okay, that's what I want. I want to correct everything on here. So actually, it's the whole family is in this book here. It's about 64 pages of the family. The first part is Cuba and Spain. And then the second part is the rest of the families. So if you want to locate anybody, and I happen to have his name and address, just let me know. And this is what I have here. So don't forget to stop by and take a look at it before you go.
Drop a quarter in the box.
Yeah, drop a quarter in the box. Yeah. And
We should have marked the floor.
here's something I found very interesting. And this is an annual dictionary. It's an international dictionary
De familias cubanas.
of Cuban families. And in it, there's Yznagas in Florida, there's Yznagas in New York, that spell their name with I-Z-N-A-G-A, today. John wrote to the one in Florida and got an answer, and I wrote to the one in New York, and I haven't received an answer yet. And the one in Florida, we found where his line was in our charts, and he said that his grandfather inherited 93,000 acres of land. That was just his grandfather. That's to show you just how much land they had. They had a tremendous amount of land and money in the wheat. In Trinidad, there's a museum. It's called the Palacio Yznaga.
Don't forget Trinidad, Cuba.
Yeah, Trinidad, Cuba. Well, what other Trinidad do you know?
The island of Trinidad.
Huh? Well, that's right. It could be the island. My uncle made that error. I guess you don't want to show the insides of it, do you? Do you? No. My
You're
uncle,
the star.
Huh?
You're the star.
my uncle, we have a book that says that the one we think is our great-great-grandfather, Jose Aniceto, was a patriot of Trinidad. And he assumed that Trinidad was the island of Trinidad. And when we first saw that, we said, hey, that's the same thing, Trinidad, Cuba, because you don't say you're a patriot of a province. You always say you're a patriot of a country. So for a while there, we thought it was Trinidad, and they said, no, it's Trinidad, Cuba. Thank you, Louis, for that little note in there. And in Trinidad, that's where they have the Palacio. It's a museum, Yznaga. If you would like to stop it just a few seconds, I need to get some other documents out. You don't need to, well, I don't know if you want to record these or not, but this is the Guernica generation. Some say Guernica, but that's not the correct way to pronounce it. Guernica generation.
La generación Guernica.
Guernica, yeah. And this is the story of the children, the Basque children, that were moved in 1936 from Spain over to Belgium, to France, to the Soviet Union, and to Mexico. I'd like for you to see it. Like I said, I'll just pass this around and let you take a look at it. We can start it from this side. And also, I want to read to you from this document called, or this, it's taken from a book called The Basque. Okay, and in it has the provinces of the Basque. That should be recorded, so you can have that information whenever you want to refer to them. And in here it says that back 4,000 to 9,000 BC, they have found remains of these people. They call them the ancient people. And here it says that these people also had a blood characteristic that was different from everybody else. It says in here, the blood group A, the Basque had 3%, the Spanish had 9%, and the Frenchman had 10.5%. Now, blood group type AB, the Basque had 1.5%, the Spaniards had 4.5%, and the Frenchmen had 4.5%. So, in the blood type, even there they're different. Makes you wonder, you know, what happened. But anyway, they talk about in here what the Basque did, and this gentleman's picture that you see here was the first historian of Basque history. He's the one that started writing it down and putting it into writing.
Who is he?
Okay, his name, I'll have to read it. Esteban de Garibay. Esteban de Garibay. And in conclusion, I'd like to read just a small part of this conclusion. I'll pass this around if you'd like to read take a glance to it. It says, there, he's talking about the different arguments of the people who were trying to determine where these people came from, where they went, what they did. And he says, all sides in these arguments have tended to turn to history for proofs of their claims and have often distorted it in the process. One comforts the lessons of the past can certainly give, however, unconscious of it, as though they may have been, the Basque have preserved a distinct identity, and in their small corner of the world and in many places beyond it, they have made a unique contribution to the complex web of human history. May they long continue to do so. So if you all want to take a look at this, I'll place this one on this side. And now, the only thing I have left now is documentation of passenger lists, marriage lists, census reports, and such. And for that, they're in books, so you would have to come up here and breeze through them if you want to. So that's really about the whole thing in a nutshell.
Would you like to comment on the different spellings?
The different spellings. Oh yes, in the early times, early times back in Spain, the I and the Y were interchangeable. In the Americas, the Z and the S were interchangeables. Therefore, the name Yznaga could be spelled with I-Z-N-A-G-A, or it could be spelled Y-Z-N-A-G-A. There's a discussion going on among family members that they feel the Y-Z-N-A-G-A is the Basque spelling of the name, and the I-Z-N-A-G-A is the Spanish government spelling of the name, but not the Basque. So you will find that the Yznagas that have come from Cuba, who had spelled their names with I-Z-N-A-G-A, the Yznagas in America now spell it with Y-Z-N-A-G-A, although some have kept the I-Z-N-A-G-A. But it is the same name. It is just how you spell it. Like if you have Chavez, some people put a Z, EZ at the end, others put ES. The Z and the S is interchangeable. Like Gonzalez, it has an ES or EZ. So just because it's a Z instead of the E or E instead of the Z doesn't mean the name is different. It's the same name.
What was the port of entry or the point of entry in the United States of the family Yznaga?
The main port of entry was in Philadelphia and in Boston, Massachusetts. Also, I found out from the librarian that these port of entries were not necessarily correct because these people would come into New York or Philadelphia, but all they did was arrive there, and they went to another port, and from there took a ship down to Texas and whatnot. So they really didn't enter the United States at that point. So you have to be careful when you take a look at one of these little cards, and it says on there that they entered in Boston, Massachusetts, for example. No, they just stopped there. They arrived there from Cuba.
Had to go all the way from Cuba up to Boston?
Yeah, from there, and they went all the way from Cuba to Boston, and from Boston all the way back down the other way. Yeah? I don't know.
Had to go through Ellis Island.
And so that's where most of them came in at. So I thought I would find most of them in Galveston. I don't know if you all knew this, but Galveston was a port of entry.
So was Indianola.
So was Indianola. I'm glad you mentioned that. Indianola was another important port of entry, and but they don't have records on Indianola, and they don't have records in Corpus Christi. I haven't found them yet. Anyway, we're still working on that. But I have found the port of entries for New Orleans that I thought maybe they had come to Louisiana, but I haven't found any Yznagas there yet. So after you take a look at these documents I have, you'll find Yznaga spelled I-Z-N-A-G-A, Y-S-N-A-G-A. You'll find them spelled in every direction, but it's the same name. So, and I guess that concludes the presentation.
Very
Thank you very much.
good.
This is off the record. I found this deal about I found that very interesting because not only I didn't know that these spots had come to Mexico, I didn't know that they had what they really look like. And in this little thing, it gives you a brief look as to what the people look like. I like that. In that book, it says that these Basque children that were in England, that the people would ask them, "Where are you from?" And because they look just like the rest of the British kids. And the kids would say, "We're from Spain." Spain? No, they said Spain. The people in Spain are short and they're dark, and you're not short. They're tall and blonde. So I found it, well, that's kind of strange. Now, why should geographically in one area the people look so different from the rest of the other area? But historically, the Basque have not mixed with the rest of the societies. They have been able to absorb the other societies into their system, but they have not gone to the other society. For some reason or other, either they're very strong in their beliefs, or... And a question everybody asks mostly is, what kind of work did the Basque do in Spain? Can anybody, does anybody have an idea of what they did primarily?
Sheep.
They were sheep herders. They were excellent sheep herders. As a matter of fact, the United States imported them to work in Nevada as sheep herders.
there.
Have you seen
So,
any sheep? Way in the back.
This book that I read said that there's more Basque in Nevada than there is in Spain, which that's hard to believe, you know, but that's what the book says, you know. So we'll assume that he had the correct information.
There were sheep, not in the fields, not too
Anything
far
else
from the road.
you'd like to ask while we're at it?
Juan, un padre de allí de San Marcos me dijo a mí que los españoles, ¿ves? Dijo, el Yznaga es español y son de los de carácter pero fuerte. Esos no se dejan manejar por nadie. Dije, okay.
All right. So the genealogical or genealogy research continues, and we're still researching, and we're searching for our great-grandfather, Antonio Jose Yznaga, that was born in Trinidad, Cuba in 1821. We don't have documentation as to who was his father. As soon as we find out who was his father, we'll have a complete documentation, which in most cases is going to be, which will span 15 generations. And that's a lot of generations. So, but luckily we found this information where the families are documented, the wife, the husband, the wife, and the children, and what they did on top of that, you know. And so I think we're very fortunate that this was done. It was a count who got this information put together. And so this is documented, and all we have to do is pick it up. So now all we have to do is document what we have from the United States on over here, and you've got the continuation of the family. So, all right. Oops. Did you see them eating tortillas? They were eating, the ones in Mexico, they were eating tortillas, all right. You know.
I want to see that book.
Huh?
I want to see that book.
Which one?
The one that you were saying.
Oh, that one? Yeah, okay. So if you want to, maybe everybody can come up and take a look at what I got over here. So you'll just be showing the bags. So. He doesn't want any. He doesn't want any.
No.
Okay, George, you're on.
Okay. Vincent, we want to say hello to you here from San Antonio. We're sitting here having a after Christmas dinner and enjoying ourselves. And we hope that you're having a good time too, and that your Christmas was a good Christmas. We all wish you a Happy New Year, and we are looking forward to having you come back over here so you can tell us some fabulous stories of Saudi Arabia and the long beaches that they have. I heard they're very long. So tell us about it, okay?
What a joke, yeah, a
I
joke.
zoomed back.
Huh?
It's a good joke.
Well, I'll have to think about that.
Quick, think about it.
No, I can't.
How about you, young fellow? You want to say something
Say
Your
something
cousin?
to Vincent.
Say hello, Vincent. He's in Saudi Arabia.
And let her know who you are.
Hi.
Who are you? Your name. You forget your name? It starts with a C. Chris.
Hi, my name's Chris.
Chris what?
Yznaga.
I'm in third.
I'm in third grade. I'm 9 years old.
And I'm Kathy's boy.
And
I'm Kathy's boy.
I'm Kathy's boy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where is it actually filmed?
How about you?
That round thing is to work.
Mandy?
It actually-
He hasn't been
Getting
able
the
to
picture.
come
Mandy,
into
want to
my
talk to
house.
Vince?
Hello, Vincent. How are you? We hope you're doing well. We hope you had a pleasant Christmas, considering the situation over there. We think about you a lot, and we wish you a happy New Year and speed coming home. Bye bye.
Okay.
Next.
No,
Anybody
Nick,
else?
we spoke already. The sea above.
Yeah.
See film above.
I don't recall if you gave a special personalized message.
No, my
Mandy.
mouth is full. I think I
This is your sister.
have. You know who I am. Well, Vince, hi, and just get home.
Tell them about your great point there.
Oh, yeah, I got my grades today. 3.8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's about the most eventful thing.
Tell them about your mother's grades.
Right, 4.0. She beat me.
4.0.
Yeah.
Lucky, look, it was lucky, Vince. We'll get lucky next semester.
Girls gonna get in those training boards.
You take care of yourself, son. We miss you and love you. And we pray for you. You come home safely.
Okay.
All right. Hey, with everybody making 4.0, 2 months ago I was in Jettigan school. I was lucky to graduate. They told me, come back when you can read the book.
And me, I was worse. I was in the 3rd grade for 2 years. I couldn't pass into the 4th. My father wasn't there.
You know this training board, this whole the building. It's like this coach, you know, Bill's girlfriend.
Yeah, like Bob Hope says, he hates to play golf in Saudi Arabia because of all the sand traps.
Can't move back. And then he, and then this other day he like